Good evening, Pokemon fans and Draft League players alike. This is Blazeman, and today I'm bringing you a week 1 battle of the IDL, the Intercontinental Draft League. Of course, again, thank you very much to our good friend Twisted for running this league again. I'm very much looking forward to starting this season off. And to start the season off, we have no other opponent than a very tough one, Oscur, which is someone who've not played before, and he has drafted a very disgusting combinations of Terramamoswine and Gardevoir. So we'll look forward to seeing how this goes, which is supported with bulky threats such as Skeledirge, Skarmory and Dragalge, all of which are very disgusting threats in terms of the bulk capacity. They can be very annoying. Skeledirge has Unaware. Dragalge can be a great Spadefmon with Haze as well, and a great AV Mon. Skarmory can be a great physically defensive Mon with Spikes, Roost, Whirlwind. So yeah, they form a quite disgusting core. And then he's got threats like Hitmonlee, which can be great with Unburden, Terramabostif, which does not need to be slept on. And to throw that all on top, he has Scarf Webs with, not Scarf Webs, Mabostif can be a great Scarfer. And to throw that all on top, he has Webs with Vikavolt. This team is going to be very hard to face off against in our first week. So you're probably wondering, what are we going to bring this week? And that's a great question. So, as you can tell, setup is not a good idea versus this team. Skarmory gets Whirlwind, Skeledirge is Unaware, Dragalge can be a Spadef pivot. So we are bringing double offensive, we are bringing Specs Gengar, we are bringing Choice Banded Slitherwing. And as you can see, this team does not have great switchings to Ghost type moves. So we are going to be bringing Terra Ghost Slitherwing this week, because I also do expect Terramamoswine to be Ghost as his type, because it does completely wall Bronzong. It's really hard for Galvantula to kill. It's really hard for non-Terra Ghost Slitherwing to kill. And obviously Incineroar is slower and weak to Earthquake. So we're bringing Choice Banded, Choice Specs. We're also bringing AV Tentacle to be a soft check to mons like Inteleon, Skeledirge and Gardevoir. We are bringing a very heat set. We are bringing Weakness Policy Bronzong. But yeah, which I expect to do really well in this matchup. We have Heavy Slam, we've got Zen Headbutt, and we have got Shreddable. No, Iron Head, sorry, not Heavy Slam. And I'm hoping to use it against Mamoswine. So best case scenario, we live a Trailblaze, we live an Adamant, like a Adamant Clear Amulet or an Adamant X-Web Belt, Terra Ghost, Terra Blast from Mamoswine. We then click, obviously, and then he hits us, we get to +2, and we nearly kill it with Shreddable. Puts in range of Banded Slitherwing, or like Fake Out or something. But yeah, mainly Banded Slitherwing with first impressions here. Apart from that, we are rocking Incineroar this week. We've got a Boots variant, we've got Knockoff. Again, just a good switch into mons like Skeledirge, Vikavolt, Skarmory, just pivoting. And then last one we are rocking Galvantula this week with Webs, because again, Webs look really good into this team. And again, Dual Stab does pretty well. So yeah, that is the team. We are going to jump into the battle, and I will see you all there. Here we are with the battle. We had some connectivity issues with our comp that myself and Oscar had. We couldn't seem to work out what was going on with the issue. We were both searching for each other and we couldn't seem to find each other. So we've decided to use the good old 20-minute timer instead. So as you can see here, we also didn't have a chance to upload our to get my setup sorted, because I was very busy that evening. So I'm asked Oscar if I could borrow his footage, and he was very kind to let me borrow it. So as you're going to see here, this is going to be from Oscar's side of the view. So he brings Inteleon, Skarmory, Skeledirge, Mamoswine, Dragalge, Hitmonlee. Now, obviously Skeledirge, Skarmory, Mamoswine and Dragalge were 4 ones that I really expected. I was shocked to see Inteleon, to be honest. It didn't really do much into my team. I thought Gardevoir was definitely the better option there. And Hitmonlee, again, great mid-game breaker / potential win con. But yeah, so this is going to be a very scary team. So I decided to lead off with Incineroar here, because obviously I don't see Vikavolt, so I'm not immediately worried about Webs. Again, I expect Skeledirge or Skarmory, Dragalge or Mamoswine to lead off with. So Incineroar covers that. Obviously can knock off Skeledirge, burn the Skarmory, or click knock off. Again, Mamoswine we can get the Intimidate off on if he's not oblivious, and Dragalge again we can pivot out on. But yeah, so we are going to choose to lead off with our Incineroar here. Yeah, and of course, best of luck to Oscar. Let's have a great week 1 battle. So as you do see here, he does lead off with the Skeledirge as we lead off with the Oscur. Of course, now I'm just free to click knock off turn 1. It's just a really free play. Of course, he goes into Hitmonlee, which is a great player. Knock off is item he gets Unburden again, which is good. Thankfully, he was White Herb, so he doesn't get the he won't get the stat. He won't get his Spadef and HP, his Spadef and defense return back to normal after he clicks Ghost Combat. Of course, I'm predicting him to go for a fighting move here because I don't think he can get a chance to set up because I could have the Will-O-Wisp. So I'm going to go into a Galvantula here and kind of just sack it off. I don't really want to sack it off, but I mean, I can. This Mon's already in range of Banded Slitherwing first impression. So again, I found Galvantula was going to be the least useful because it doesn't beat Skeledirge, it doesn't beat Skarmory, it's kind of just set up bait for Mamoswine. But yeah, so we're going to go for that here, and we are going to see that he does actually go for the Swords Dance here, which is a great play by Oscur. Capitalising on our switch, he goes for the offensive play. Pays off really well. Again, he's in range of first impression, so I'm not too worried, but you are going to see him go for the Blaze Kick here, and obviously Oscur Galvantula because we were boots in case he brought Websters of his own, and of course in case he had rocks. But yeah, so obviously we're going to go into Slitherwing here, click first impression and pick this thing off because I did realise that after that I thought I was really thinking in prep that this could get out of hand, this being the Hitmonlee could get out of hand, so that's another reason why I wanted to have banded first impression on our Slitherwing to make sure this Hitmonlee does not get out of hand, as well as a couple of other threats. But yeah, so Mothman is going to pick up his first KO of the season here with first impression, and this is going to start off a game in a good fashion for us. We do trade Galvantula for Hitmonlee, which I'm completely fine with. Again, Hitmonlee was much more of a threat to me than Galvantula was to him, and as you are going to see, my opponent is going to again choose to play the offensive card here and go into his Mamoswine on our first impression. Again, just take advantage of the offensive momentum in this matchup. Again, he lets me know before the battle that this, of course, is Terra Ghost Mamoswine, which is again a great bring as I predicted. So, of course, I'm going to go into my dedicated check into this one, which is our Bronzong. And yeah, we're going to hopefully live the Trailblaze into the Terra Blast from this Mon and been able to get big damage with it onto it with our weakness policy here, which again I do not think Oscur will expect. But yeah, so we do see him go for the Terra Ghost here, and of course I was predicting him to go for a Trailblaze because again it covers the Choice Specs Gengar here, which I am indeed. I'm not Choice Scarf. You do see that does literally less than 5%. So yeah, we are going to live this Terra Blast here, and we are going to be able to do massive damage to this thing with our Heat of the Week set, in my opinion. I'm not sure if the IDL is doing Heat of the Week, but I mean, I definitely know we're going to see some great sets from the gents in this league. They're going to pull through and bring some heat, I'm sure. But yeah. So of course I'm thinking here, I'm just calculating if I live a +2 hit, which not +2 if I live a hit from Adamant. I'm judging by that damage. I was trying to work out if he was expert bell, but obviously as you saw earlier in the video, he was clear amulet to prevent intimidate and of course prevent webs. So you do see the Terra Blast come off here, and of course we live just barely in the weakness policy procs, and we are going to bring this thing really low down again, just in range of first impression. And of course Oscar's probably confused because this set literally would probably win from this range because of course my Slitherwing is Terra Ghost, so I'd have to Terra to be able to do damage. But yeah, luckily, thankfully now, we do put this one in range of banded first impression. So Bronzong really carrying in week 1, really showing why this mon is not to be slept on. This Bronzong is such a threat again. So yeah, we do get picked off here by the Terra Blast, but thankfully we are going to be able to revenge kill this mon with Slitherwing and just show why Slitherwing is going to be the best Terra captain in this league, picking up 2 kills in the early game. So yeah, again, shout out to Oscur though for this set. If I wasn't these 2 sets in conjunction, this set he would have definitely swept me because again I wouldn't have been able to kill it with Incineroar from full. And again, it would have just really swept my other team, being able to kill Gengar. And obviously, you know, Icicle Crash will do a lot, but thankfully we do have Mothman coming in strong with his banded first impression. So again, this puts Oscar on the back foot. His main way of winning the game is gone. He's just got his defensive pieces left. His offense has been crumbled. So again, I just have to play around these mons smart, and I should be able to come out with a strong victory here. Of course, we do see the Inteleon come out here, which we have got our tentacle for our Spadef tentacle. Assault Vest will just be able to chew hits, especially if he's not specs, which we do see. I didn't see in the match, obviously, but I now know that he is just boots again, so I can just soak up hits. But I do elect to go for the flip turn here, predicting the Dragalge to come in, because I just know it's going to come in and try and absorb a hit, because it is a complete walled tentacle. So yeah. So we flipped turn out, and we're going to go into our I believe we go into our Gengar at this point, or it might be our Incineroar to get a knockoff off on this Dragalge. Yeah, we do. We go into Incineroar again. Knockoff is really free. Any item we can remove is good. So yeah, and obviously removing this item really opens up Gengar in this battle here, because Specs Gengar is going to be really hard for my opponent to switch into. So we see Knockoff does a sizable chunk here. Yeah, so we see Surf, and obviously we are quite Spadef invested, so that doesn't actually do a KO. And we are going to get a little bit greedy here. We are going to actually parting shot out into our Gengar as this Dragalge goes for Draco Meteor. Of course, now we all know Dragalge has an amazing special attack set combined with its great ability and adaptability. So this is going to do a lot. This will do a lot, but thankfully we do -1 special attack, so we are going to live regardless with Gengar and get off a really... well, we're going to pick up a kill here regardless. Now we do get pretty lucky with this turn, as you're going to see here in just a minute. I'm debating whether I go Slitherwin or Gengar, but obviously Gengar gives me better offensive momentum because Skarmory has not been chipped down by Hazard, so I can't 2-hit KO the Skarmory with Terra Blast on my Slitherwing. But yeah, so I'm going to go into my Gengar here after a little bit of deliberation, and you are going to see that he does actually miss the Draco Meteor, which obviously we did live, but we wouldn't have lived on much HP, like 20%. So we do get pretty lucky there, and of course Gengar is going to pick up its first kill on this Dragalge, securing another kill for the Winchester Medichams. We are going to see the Inteleon come back in, of course, going for the Dark Pulse again. So this is really just a game of pivoting. Obviously this Inteleon doesn't do much to my Tentacle. I bring in my Tentacle, live the hit, get a slow flip turn off, and then bring in either Slitherwin or Gengar to get a kill again. So yeah, Oscar really was put on the back foot between his Hitmonlee going down and the surprise kill on the Mammoth Swine with my Bronzong. So it just really leaves him not having much of an offensive momentum during this game, really struggling to claw back this game. So yeah, we do see the Skarmory come in here. Again, I just go for the Surf just in case he decides to go Skeledirge. But you do see the Skarmory just takes just below 50% from this. So we do see that he is quite mixed defensive. And of course, he's going to get his Rock type in, which makes a lot of sense. Again, it keeps my mons chipped as the rest of this game continues out from the mid game into the end game. I'm just going to hard switch into my Gengar because I know he's not going to click Brave Bird. I'm expecting Hazards, or if a Brave Bird does come off, he's not going to get a lot of damage off, which is again where the Draco Miss really comes into play here, because I would have had to have forced my hand and gone Incineroar. But now I can just go into Gengar and I can just pick this thing off with a Spec Shadow Ball, and it just won't be able to survive. So yeah, again, a little bit of luck in our favour, but again, nothing too drastic. Unfortunately, people do miss Dracos on occasion. But yeah, so again, in comes James Pond, and he's going to go for Dark Pulse again. I've got my Tentacle at full HP. I'm just going to go in and click, just bring my AV Tentacle in and just soak up the hits. And as we do see here, the Dark Pulse comes off. Again, it's not doing much damage. And as I do actually predict him to stay in here and click Dark Pulse and try and get him flinched off my Tentacle. So I do go for the Sludge Wave. Again, I'm faster than Tentacle, so if I'm faster than Skeledirge, so if it comes in, I'm not too worried. But thankfully, he doesn't get any flinches, and we are able to pick the Inteleon off, which is good. And again, Skeleturge comes in here. And this Skeleturge is still a threat, even though I do have my Incineroar. This can get out of hand with Torchons. So I'm just going to let this thing... I'm going to let Kenny go down here. And instead I'm going to click Flip Turn. Again, I didn't want this thing to get to a hand. I could go Incineroar, but I chose to go for the offensive. I chose to go for the offensive play in case he went into... in case he went for Torchon, I decided to go for the offensive play and go into my Gengar. Again, then that forces if he went for Torchon there, he didn't kill me and I got the kill. So it kind of conditions my opponent to go for Shredderable to pick up the kill, which is fine because I can always go into my Slitherwing and I can always kill it with a Banded Terra Blast. So again, it's in the week one you want to secure the wins where you can. So I wanted to go for the safe 3-0 win instead of risking around getting Torchon boost or anything like that. Again, because after Incineroar's knocked off this thing's boots, it can still yawn me and slack off me and wear me down eventually. So I decided to make a bit of a risky play and again go for the bringing my Slitherwing to condition him to kill the Skeleturge again. So we are going to see the Terra Ghost Slitherwing pop off here, Mothman in his final form. And again, you are going to see the Banded Terra Blast come off here, and unfortunately the Skeleturge, well, fortunately for us, unfortunately for our opponent, the Skeleturge does just drop. Again, so GG's to Oscar, very well played. This matchup was very tough to start off with. But yeah, so this is going to be your Winchester Medichams signing off. But yeah, so very well played to Oscar there. It was definitely a tough matchup. But yeah, we had some tech that pulled off with our Bronzong and kept him on the back foot, so our offense between Slitherwing and Gengar could take the win home for us to week 1. But yeah, so I'll see you all for week 2. And this has been Baseman signing off. Peace and love as always. Bye.